Update. My ex says I got her pregnant. We only been intimate once, but the paternity results say something else. Original story. It says I, 24 male, am the father. We went to this lab that do prenatal paternity tests. At first I thought she, 22 female, was saying BS because I dumped her. Then 3 weeks later she's telling everyone she's pregnant and that I broke up with her because of that, since according to her I didn't want to be a father. Then made it worse when I was saying there's no way it's my kid because we only did it once over 4 months ago. She says she's barely 10 weeks. What's freaking me out is it says I'm the father. So either she found a way to tamper with the results or she did something to me. As in before we broke up, we'd sometimes spend the night at each other's apartments. I'm really worried since I take trazodone at night due to my insomnia problem, which leaves me knocked out completely. I don't want to think maybe she did something, but what else could it be? It sounds crazy, I know, but we literally have not slept together for months. I would remember an important detail like that. Then the way she's been acting, she has this told you so look on her face, and that's made her blow up on me even more online, about being a coward the whole time, but now there's proof I'm the father refusing to take responsibility. All my friends and my family that were on my side saying she's crazy are doubting me now when I told them there's no way the baby's mine. I don't know what to do about it now. Is it possible she figured out how to mess with the results, or is it possible she did what I think she did? How do I confront her about that? I'm not ready for kids. Edit to add more info. I know the last time we did it was May 15th. I know it was this date because we barely came back from the movies and still have the ticket. And since other people keep assuming, yeah, I did use a rubber, which is another reason why I was completely sure there was no way the baby was mine. Especially when there was already an ultrasound that said she's about 10 weeks pregnant now. That's why it's super confusing to me. It's why I can't stop freaking out about this. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Get another paternity test from another location and have the results sent to you. And get a lawyer. And get another test from a different lab. And talk to your doctor about the effects of the prescription you were taking. Could it affect your memory? Could you have had done it and not remember? Is it obvious that you're drugged or not? I hope she didn't do it with you when you were out of it. That would be awful. If it's obvious you were medicated, then it would have been a crime. It's also possible that she thought it was consensual while medicated. I've seen roommates do crazy things in Ambien and have no knowledge the next day. One made roughly 5 dozen muffins and asked me where they came from. We had sat in the kitchen talking while they were baking, and I had no idea she was on something. Yet another one sat at the end of my bed and told me how she was queen of the gummy bears and a piece of melted cheese. Ambien is a hell of a medicine. If you are unsure of the results, contact the lab and ask for a copy of the test results directly from them. Or wait until the baby is born and get a paternity test. If the results say you are a dad, be there for your child. Is it possible that this one maybe made a mistake with the results? I can try calling a guess. Someone else suggested going to a different clinic to see if the results came back saying something else or if it is for sure. And now for the update. Wasn't sure about updating after my last post, but thought screw it. I already posted this far about my life. I found another place and asked her if she could do another test. Of course, she was all pissed, but she agreed because whatever, it's your money. My worst fear still came true, even though I wanted to double check in case the last place messed up. Results still came back that I'm the father, and it was sent directly from them to my email. This time I had a really serious talk with my ex, because the last ultrasound she had they were able to say how far along she was, which is way off the last time we've been intimate. She kept telling me we did it around the time she got pregnant, but she wouldn't give me any details about when or how, because it's not her fault I don't remember. According to her, we were already in bed and ended up doing it. I asked her stuff like what I was telling her, who started it, because I sure as hell don't remember any of that. Every time I went to bed, I'm knocked the hell out after taking my medication, because I got work in the mornings and can't be up late. I was nervous about asking this, but I needed to know. So I asked her was I already asleep or like did I wake up and wanted to do it. She didn't want to tell me anything. All she ended up telling me was, I was hard, wasn't I? Then that she's done talking about it, so I better accept it already because no one's gonna believe me anyways, and there's nothing I can do about it. The way she said it though, and how she was looking at me, her freaking smirk pissed me the hell off, but also got me anxious at the same time. Only thing I could say was, good luck taking care of the baby on her own. She can come at me with a child support, but it's not gonna be a lot, and I'm not gonna be involved at all, so she should think about what she's gonna do. My ex wanted to talk more about that because I need to help too. But that's all I could tell her, and she's not gonna change my mind, even if she decides to say more crap about me to everyone. Everything's been awful so far. Have a list of people on my family and also some friends that I've blocked for now. My stomach's still been acting up from all the stress. It's been a lot going on, and all I'm hoping is she realizes she's gonna be on her own and decide not to go through with it. So she did it with you while you were asleep to get pregnant? Pretty sure that's a crime. Basically what she said, yeah, but I wouldn't have any way to prove that. It's my word against hers, and I don't know if I have the energy to get into that too, on top of everything else. It doesn't matter if you can prove it. I would consult with a lawyer and with the police, and I would let everyone who was giving me a hard time know that she violated you in your sleep after you were medicated, and then she admitted it to you. And that you are not a liar. And if she won't admit it now, of course she won't, but she baby-trapped you and you're not planning on cooperating. You can at least ask for the courtesy of support, because many people don't have any sympathy for male victims. I would get some therapy, and definitely even if you can't get full satisfaction, explore your options in terms of the fact that you were exploited and violated. This really sounds like she forced you, and she knows it with that smirk. Yeah, tell her good luck raising this kid on her own. You're right, you do not have to be involved at all as long as you pay child support. Hell, there are ways you can even get out of that. I'd consider having another convo with her about that night, record it, and report her to the police. She's an offender. Basically, she forced you. Just because you were hard does not mean you consent. I know it will be impossible to prove, but that's what happened. I am sorry she did this to you. Yes, you will be ordered to pay child support, but you legally have no responsibility to the child. I'd inform your friends and family what happened. Let them know, yes, it may be my kid because she did it with me while I was asleep. Have you considered filing a police report for this crime? I don't see the point. She's right. No one's gonna believe me. Next story is titled, My Fiancé Cheated on Me. I'm 32 female, been with my fiancé 33 male for 5 years. We were supposed to get married last August, but made a tough decision to postpone our big day until August of 2022 because a lot of our older family members had expressed concerns with flying and being around a crowd of people. I met him at work. We are both hairstylists at a higher-end salon. It's not a really creative environment. Occasionally you'll get someone who wants rainbow hair, but other than that is very generic colors and cuts. Like 9 months ago, he told me he was feeling really depressed and stagnant at work and wanted to quit and work in a more creative environment. I supported him, and he started working at a new salon within the month. Literally everyone who works there is in their early to mid-20s besides him. Instantly, he was so much happier. And within a few weeks, he expressed his desire to start trying for a family and wanted me to come off the pill. I told him I thought it would be better to wait a little while, preferably after the wedding, because he wasn't bringing in the same money he used to. Some of his clients followed him, but the majority didn't, so his book/money was cut in half. His birthday is in May, and he brought up trying again. And now he's in a good place at work and the timing is right. I agreed to come off birth control, not really trying or prevent it, thinking it would take months to get pregnant. I get pregnant in June, 20 weeks and 4 days, and we're both excited for the next chapter of our lives together. July changes his hours and starts working more. And it tells me it's because he wants to be able to have money set aside for the baby, because I won't be working for 6 to 8 weeks after birth. I don't think anything of it, and think it's sweet that he's trying to provide for the baby. 2 weeks ago, he sits me down crying, telling me he messed up. I'm thinking he got fired, but said he cheated on me with his 20-year-old apprentice/stylist under him. I was in complete shock, because this is what he wanted. He told me it's been going on since he found out I was pregnant, because all of a sudden things he thought about just got really real, and he couldn't handle it. I told him I couldn't deal with all this now, and he needed to get out and stay with friends or family. He's been calling and texting me nonstop and apologizing, wanting to work on things, but he won't quit. I don't trust him and don't think I can unless he leaves his jobs and isn't around her all the time. I've talked to my therapist about this, and I really don't know what the right answer is here. I'm not pissed, I'm hurt. He's going to be in my life forever one way or another. I told him I'm 99% sure this is something I can't get over. I'm really trying my hardest to stay calm for the baby's sake, because I know stress isn't good and can lead to issues. Any advice would be great. Him not being involved is not an option. I would never be that cruel. He'll be a great father, as is good with kids. So he begs you to have a baby. You get pregnant, and he reacts by starting an affair with his apprentice? Not really a guy can trust when under pressure, is he? It makes no sense to me either. I've been racking my head for a while since I found out. He maybe trapped you. You said yourself that you've been trying to figure out a way to make things work because you're having his baby. That's what he was banking on. He wanted to cheat on you and figured that he could get away with it if he impregnated you. This was 100% premeditated so he could get away with having an affair. Throw him away. You can do better. You said you're 99% sure you can get over this. And that's all the advice you need. You aren't required to forgive him. You aren't required to get over it. You aren't required to give it a try. You don't have to try to trust him again even if he leaves his new job. You don't. Your only requirement is doing whatever it is you feel deep down. And that 99% is what you feel. So powerful. You're right. I've been frantically trying to figure out a way to make this work and try and trust him because a baby is involved, when deep down I already know this is over. It felt good to type that. In case you're hesitating, I wanted to tell you a bit. My parents stayed together for years, mostly for us, despite the fact that they're two very incompatible people. They resented each other a lot, and most of the time that fell on me and my sister. They being together didn't make things easier for us. It made them a million times harder. My parents decided to officially separate some years later, and it was the best decision they could have taken. I love them both deeply, and as their son, it's a joy to have seen them flourish outside of their relationship. My dad has gone calmer, gone to therapy, and has matured a great deal, while my mom has let her creativity run free and now has a partner who is a great fit for her. They're still partners, in a sense. They get along well, despite a few hitches here and there, but they're friends, and we're still very much a family. If you stay together and resent him, your kid is going to be able to sense that, and it's going to affect them. Do what your heart is telling you to do, and you're going to set a very powerful example for your kid, as well as giving them the gift of growing up with peace of mind. You're going to be a wonderful mom. Now for the last story. My 14 female daughter, 18 female, just told me she and her boyfriend, 18 male, are pregnant. Her boyfriend's parents think my daughter should drop out of college to work to support her son and their baby because he has a full athletic scholarship. How can I try to help my daughter stay in school? My daughter and her boyfriend have been together since freshman year in high school. Now they are freshmen in college. When my daughter told her father and I that she is pregnant, she also told us that she and her boyfriend are going to get married before the baby comes. I do think they are good together, so I'm not upset by that. I've known his mom since college. We are friends. She thinks her son should finish college because he has a full athletic scholarship. As a student athlete, he is not allowed to have a job. I think that him finishing is smart, but I don't want my daughter to have to drop out of college completely. I could let them live with us as we have room in the house. I unfortunately couldn't babysit more than the 2 days I'm off work. My husband and I have always dreamed that our daughter would be the first to go to college for a bachelor's degree. Both my husband and I work trades, so we never went to college. I cut hair and my husband is an auto mechanic. Our daughter is very smart, and we are very proud. We don't have a ton of money, but I would help any way I can. What should I do here? Now for the top advice. I just want to chime in and say please do whatever you can to convince your daughter to stay in school. My mom got pregnant with me at 19 while she was in college and married my dad. My dad's side of the family did everything they could to convince my mom to drop out so she could take care of me full time. I'm so thankful that she didn't drop out, since without her job, she would have never been able to leave him. Your daughter can look into online schooling, hybrid schooling, benefits for single moms for daycare subsidies, etc. But please make sure she looks into all of her options before she makes a decision to drop out. Her education is the one thing that no one will ever be able to take away from her. I would research what is available to single moms versus married before they tie the knot. There can be quite a lot available by way of scholarships, bursaries, and government assistance for single moms, and often it all goes away if she's married, financially stable or not. Agree. I chose not to get married. It helped me in the long run. My husband and I are still together 14 years after getting pregnant. Definitely a sticky situation. They're both babies and should both stay in school. What would happen if she drops out and works, and 4 years from now the boyfriend leaves her? I'm not saying he will, but she has to really think about every possibility. Will she regret dropping out 10 years from now or grow to resent the child? You should encourage your daughter to stay in school. She's lucky to have supportive parents like you and your husband. Make sure she understands the long-term financial responsibilities of a child and what it means to have a baby. That's the most you can do. Yes, that is exactly what I'm worried about too. I don't think it's like that, but you never know. So what exactly is the father sacrificing in this situation? I can name 3 things she might be sacrificing to have this baby before we bring up her education. 1, her physical body. 2, possibly mental health. I have had PPD and it's awful. 3, possibly her health, as many things can happen during pregnancy. Never mind all of the horrible pregnancy symptoms she will have to endure. This whole post about his parents and him basically deciding for her without really saying how the dad will contribute or how his life will change from the baby rubs me the wrong way. How much of this was actually her decision without future in-laws talking in her ear? I'm not trying to be a jerk, but this feels too one-sided. So, they probably shouldn't get married so she can stay in your health insurance. Let them move in. Some universities have daycares on campus. She can plan for online classes and take a lighter load when the baby's due. Also have her take CLEP courses for basics. They're like $80 a test and she gets full credit. Our kids are homeschooled and started college as sophomores this way. There are ways for her to keep going with the baby. The problem is, will daddy step up or will he just pawn all the work on her?